The amazing drama you're about to see is a matter of human record. You may believe it or not. But the real people who lived this story, they believe it. They know. They took that one step beyond. Last year, American fire insurance companies paid out a good many thousands of dollars for damages resulting from fires that they found, well, difficult to explain. Fires for which there seemed just no earthly reason. No earthly reason. There was such a fire in 1921.
It's almost out. What's the matter? Nothing.
All right, let's go. Move, move. All of you. All right, go on.
Some boys came in after high school, like they always do. They were buying sarsaparilla and stuff. Then Patty Leland came in with a new kid. Never saw her before. She hung back when she seen the boys, but Patty made her come in. Then the boys started teasing the new girl, laughing about something, and she got real upset, almost cried. I was going to tell them to stop teasing the girl, but before I could, I had other things on my mind. A flame shot up from the floor right by a barrel of Excelsior.
Some kid threw a match into it.
No, sir. It didn't start in the Excelsior, and nobody threw a match.
A fire doesn't start from nothing.
Well, this one did. Hey, you, Tim Plunkett, come here. Come here. Tell Chief Keating what happened.
Just like you said. I went just like one of them Roman candles or something.
Setting a fire's no laughing matter. Unless you did it.
I wasn't any place near that barrel. The only ones near that barrel were Patty and Alice.
Come to think of it, that's right. But Patty wouldn't do such a thing. Why, I've known her since...
What's the name of the new girl?
Alice Denning.
Where does she live?
On the corner, across the street from Burger's Woods.
Who else was in the store?
Pete Hubbard, Billy Wolf. But they're all right. I've known them since...
It doesn't make any difference how long you've known them. What's so funny?
Nothing.
I'm going to let you go. But that doesn't say I won't check up on you. Now beat it.
Why don't you leave her alone? What's the matter, Alice?
Nothing.
Come on, tell me.
Hey, you saw I didn't do anything, didn't you? You saw it wasn't my fault.
Your fault about what?
The fire.
Well, of course it wasn't your fault. Who said it was?
Nobody.
Oh, just let them try and blame you.
You don't have to be nice to me.
Why are you so touchy about things? Like today in class, for instance. You shouldn't let Tim Plunkett make you mad.
Oh. I wish he didn't sit behind me. I can feel his eyes on me all the time, just staring at me. And when I have to get up to be called, I can't think straight.
Well, everybody forgets sometimes when they have to stand up and recite.
He's the one that started laughing, you know. And he made everybody else start laughing. They laughed and laughed and...
You shouldn't have run out of the room.
He's always teasing me. Right from the very first day. And the kids always laugh at me.
They only laugh because they feel sorry for him.
Why?
Because he's going on 18 and still with us freshmen. Girls don't even like to date him because he's so clumsy and stupid. Maybe that's why he teases you. He wants you to notice him.
It's getting late. My pa doesn't like me out after dark.
Well, you can cut across by the shack. It'll save time.
No.
Oh, come on, I'll go with you.
Oh, no, please.
Oh, come on.
No, you live way up on the hill.
No. Is that old place what scares you? It's been vacant for years. Come on, I'll show you.
No.
What's wrong? You have any brothers or sisters?
No.
Just you and your mom and dad, huh?
Oh, my ma died. My aunt keeps house for us. It's nice of you to walk me home.
I wanted to. I want to be friends with you. Best friends.
Hello, Pa.
Alice, you're late.
I'm sorry, Pa.
Go up and get ready for supper.
Pa, I've got a friend. A best friend.
Good. Who is it?
Her name's Patty Leland.
Well, it might interest you to know that I'm working for Mr. Leland. Started today.
You did?
Putting new shingles on their barn roof. If he likes my work, he may keep me on. He owns a lot of property.
I'm glad.
Go on upstairs. Alice. You remember how proud your ma was of you. You won't spoil things this time, will you? Will you?
No, I won't, Pa. I won't.
Supper's ready. It's been ready. Going to eat with your coat on? Hope it isn't spoiled. How's school, dear?
Fine, Aunt Mildred.
Well, now, this looks mighty good. I'll get it.
Yeah, there was quite a fire at Purdy's this afternoon. Everybody downtown was talking about it. They say it just flared up for no logical reason.
I wasn't there.
Didn't say you were, dear. It's human nature, though, for kids to watch a fire. I can see why you wouldn't want to, though. Considering all that's gone before.
Don't talk like that. You wouldn't dare talk like that if Pa was here.
Now, I don't think you ought to use that threatening tone. Not after what I've done for you. I haven't told you, Pa, what happened in the woods with that boy.
I told you nothing happened. He was hiding in that shack. He came chasing after me. I came home all dirty because I fell down.
I don't know. I think I better tell your Pa.
Why do you have to make everything seem so awful? Why do you have to make me sound so rotten?
I told you not to use that tone. Don't tell your Pa.
Please don't tell my Pa. You'll say all the wrong things and you'll make me seem so bad.
I don't know why I should go on being nice to you when you're planning to give me trouble with your Pa.
I won't. I promise I won't.
Alice, when you came in that front door, you knew you'd done it again.
What?
That was the fire chief. He's making a check on all the kids who were in Purdy's store when the fire started. Well, I didn't tell him anything about what had happened before, so you're in the clear once more. Alice, I give you my...
I didn't do it, Pa. I swear I didn't do it.
Stop lying. You threw that match?
I didn't even have a match.
Then how did you start it?
I don't know how it started. It's like always, just before it happens, everything goes dark. I don't know!
You do know. You start them. Now you listen to me. I've had to move to 3 different towns in the past 4 years on account of you. Your Aunt Mildred and I have tried to stand by you. And all you've given us is headache and disgrace. I've had enough.
Now, Willie, why don't you
Mildred,
sit down?
you protected her long enough. Alice, you're old enough to know the difference between right and wrong. You listen to me. If you cause me to lose one more job, if you cause me any trouble at all, you're going to get yourself out of it. Do you understand me, Alice?
I didn't do it, Pa.
Do you understand me?
I didn't do it, Pa.
Alice, you've got to stop saying that.
I didn't do it! I didn't do it!
Wait a minute! Want all the neighbors to hear? Isn't it shameful enough? Almost glad your mother isn't here to see this.
Gypsy costume's here somewhere.
Oh,
here it is. Oh. Here's a sash and some beads. Gypsies always wear beads. I've had my class to a Halloween party ever since I can remember. I just love Halloween, don't you?
Yeah, I love Halloween, too, but I've never been to a party.
You haven't? Wow, I sure am glad Tim Pluckett's moved away, so I don't have to invite him.
So am I.
He's a big oaf, that's what he is, scaring me the way he did in the woods that time.
I'm not even scared of the woods anymore now that he's gone. Oh, da-dun, 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 da-dun. It's so naked.
Well, don't you look nice?
Thank you, Mrs. Leland.
She thinks people will say it's too naked.
Nonsense. Evil to him who evil thinketh. Oh, this costume does bring back memories. All 4 of my married daughters wore it at some time or another. Here, you two, you better take it back to the attic. The party begins at 8 sharp, and you've got to eat your dinner yet.
Alice can't eat with us.
Why not?
My Aunt Mildred wouldn't want me to.
Oh, well. Here, wait a minute. No self-respecting gypsy will ever wear braids. Come on. Thank you. Down at the dresser. Here now. Oh, what lovely thick hair you've got. It's a shame to keep it braided.
But my Aunt Mildred likes it braided.
Well, do you think that just once she'd mind if maybe we put it up like this with a ribbon?
Or down with the ribbon.
Oh, that'll look nice.
Shall we try it?
All right.
All right, let's take the braids out.
Always going up there. Spending the night. Sashay and back here like Miss Know-It-All. Miss Leland had such pretty hair. I guess if anybody in the world knew what I know about that brat, I wouldn't think she was so wonderful. Devil.
I thought Pa'd be back.
You know, he had to go to Porterville to do some business for your friend, Mr. Leland.
I have to go now. I have to be there by 8.
Let me see your costume. Oh, come on, little girl. Take off your coat. Well, you ought to be ashamed. Lucky your pa's in here.
Mrs. Leland said both her daughters have worn this.
Oh? Well, I wouldn't accept such a cast-off rag. But then I don't go chasing people just because they're rich.
Oh, that's not the reason Patty's my friend, and you know it. I have to go now.
Oh, no, you don't. Not in that.
But it's a costume party, and I don't have anything else.
Well, then you won't be able to go. You go on upstairs and get out of that and get into something decent. Your father'd never forgive me if I let you go out in that thing.
My father? Not my father, it's you. You don't want me to go over to Patty's because I have a happy time and nothing bad happens. And you want it to happen. You do your very best to make it happen.
You ungrateful bitch. Look at you. Look at your hair going down your back. You're half naked. You're a Jezebel. That's what you're, a Jezebel.
Let go of me.
You're no good. You're no good. You're chasing after boys. You're just like your ma. That's what you are. You're just like your ma.
Don't you dare talk about my ma.
Those big eyes of hers, those tempting ways driving your pa half mad to marry her. Dirty. Filthy.
You shut your mouth.
Just like your ma. Dirty. No good. No good. You come back here. You devil. You witch! I don't know. I don't know what makes us set fires. We've tried so hard to stop.
Where's Alice? They told me what happened. Where is she?
She's probably hiding someplace until things calm down.
Your sister's been telling me the facts about your daughter. And high time. Why did you tell me that she's been setting fires since she was 11?
Mildred.
I had to, Will. That poor boy with his hands and arms all burned from putting out the fire. If he hadn't, the shack would have burned clear to the ground. The woods would have all burned down.
Mildred, what are we going to do?
She's going to have to be put away, Mr. Denning.
She says she goes blank. Maybe she doesn't know.
What do you mean, goes blank?
She says that just to make you feel sorry for her. She knows what she's doing. Will, I feel just as bad as you do. But we've got to face it. She's dangerous. And she'll get worse.
don't do it on purpose, Aunt Mill. You know I don't. You make it happen. You want it to.
Make what happen, Alice? Make what happen?
Don't, Aunt Mill. Don't.
Don't what, Alice?
Don't. Tear up my dress. Don't you dare.
What is it, Doctor?
She's badly disturbed, badly frightened.
About the fire?
Something deeper than that.
Don't you dare.
Don't what, Alice? Don't dare what?
Ma's not dirty. Don't you dare.
Alice!
You call Ma dirty? Don't you dare.
Miss Denning, will you stand at the foot of the couch so she can see you when she wakes up? Say something to her.
Alice. Wake up, dear. Alice. Alice.
Go away. Go away.
Alice, sweetheart. It's Aunt Mildred.
You said bad things about Ma. Go away.
Poor child, she doesn't know what she's saying.
You said it on purpose. To upset me. Because that's when it happens. And you want it to happen.
Don't talk crazy.
I won't live here anymore.
It's your home.
No, not since my Ma left. Not since you came.
Shh, Alice. Alice, baby. Shh.
No, don't touch me.
Alice.
Don't touch me. You made it happen again. You made it happen.
It just started. By itself. The fire just started.
Not by itself. Because of her. There's a devil in her. She's a witch. I've known it all along. I've known the fire started by themselves. From her.
You knew? Why didn't you tell me the truth?
From her, from the devil in her.
The devil's not in Alice, Miss Denning.
You're lying. She's a witch.
I saw it. I saw it.
We all did.
What is it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Nobody really knows. But Alice was not an isolated case. There have been others. The ability to induce spontaneous combustion may be a survival of a power from ancient times. Then it would have been called a miracle of great value. For the worship of fire stems from man's earliest beginnings. Well, at least that's a theory. I can tell you some facts about Alice herself, however. Today she is happily married with grown children of her own. And her power, a power she certainly never wanted, disappeared when she felt secure, when she knew she was loved. In a moment, a program note about next week. This is one of the storerooms of a salvage company in Connecticut. It may seem a most unlikely place to begin the incredible saga of German U-boat 147. But there's a reason for my being here. A fantastic reason, which I'll explain later. Actually, the story began some years ago, and a long way from Connecticut. It was early spring, 1945, and Hitler's Third Reich was dying. 147 was one of the last U-boats to survive. Now it waited off the coast of northern Germany to begin its final voyage.
Der! Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler. Be careful with those briefcases.
An honor to have you aboard, sir.
I shouldn't be on board. I should be with the Führer, fighting until the end.
Put them in my cabin. May I show you to your quarters?
The captain is generous.
My orders from the Admiralty are quite specific. So long as you are aboard this boat, you are in command, Herr Bartman.
My orders are not so specific. We must somehow keep this dream alive.
Herr Kapitän, enemy aircraft!
Herr Bartman!
Secure!
40 meters!
40 meters, Captain!
That's rather hard. Steady. 1 to 0. We'll be underwater in 30 seconds.
What is it?
Someone is trapped on top! Surface at once!
Surface at once, Captain! What are you doing?
I'm going up after him.
You can't. The plane will kill us all.
One of my men is drowning up there.
You cannot surface. I will not allow it. That is an order.
Resume driving position to 40 meters.
40 meters, Captain!
Air stations. This is the captain. Check all personnel and report.
Oh, I have never been on a U-boat. Is smoking permitted?
No, Herr Bartman.
No?
No, there is battery gas aboard. It might explode.
What a bore.
What a beautiful cigarette case.
Yes, it is, isn't it? The inscription on the inside might interest you.
The Führer.
It was given to me at Nuremberg in 1938. 1,000,000 voices singing the Horst Wessel song. The torches turning their faces red. Those were days, my boy.
Engine room reporting, Captain. All hands at station.
Aft torpedo room. All hands at station.
Waiting room at station.
Forward torpedo room. All hands at station, Captain.
That leaves only the control room.
Captain, you must understand that the life of every German is as dear to me as it is to you. But on this voyage, my dear Captain, you're carrying something more precious than life.
And that is?
You are carrying the last hope of the Third Reich. All that is left of Germany are a few U-boats, such as this one, moving under the sea, with 6 leaders like myself. This is not vanity. This is a historical fact.
When did you see the Führer last?
I do not want to talk about that. He's become an old man. His vitality all gone. His whole body trembles. Imagine those wonderful eyes, dead. I wept. I admit it, I wept.
Captain!
All hands at stations in control room!
Are you certain?
Certain, Captain!
No one missing. How can that be?
Could it have been the bullets from the plane? Possibly some seaweed caught on the cables when we crash-dived, Captain.
I suppose it's possible.
Well, then we're upset about nothing. All is well. That is a good omen. I feel rather tired. Would someone take me to my cabin, please?
Friedel!
Yes, Captain!
Show Herr Bartman to my quarters.
Yes, Captain!
What is it?
Check every valve, bolt, and sitting on this boat.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Keep looking.
I checked the engine room, the aft torpedo room, and the forward torpedo room. Everything is working perfectly. Oh, I found a loose sprocket on one of the ventilator fans, but that could not have caused the noise.
Well, let's hope we are through with the sound.
What's that?
A little party. I gave the men permission.
But they'll wake Herr Bartmann. The poor man finally fell asleep. I'll tell him to stop.
Lieutenant, didn't you hear me? I gave them permission.
Get up for me. I'm not a worshipper of dignity like the good captain. Some of my best memories are of being with young people at party meetings. They were like my own boys. Well now, whose birthday is it?
My wife's, sir.
Your wife's? How charming. Did they wake you up, Herr Bartmann? No, it's all right. The sound has stopped. Yes, it's more pleasant to be awake now. Go to my cabin. You will find a bottle of cognac there. Bring it here. At once. Your wife, huh? Well, how old is she?
Elsa's 21. I hope.
You hope?
She's been reported missing.
Oh, come now. Let's cheer up. I may have to send a message to Herr Goebbels saying that we have discovered a defeatist among us. Herr Goebbels will say, shoot him right away. Herr Hauptmann. Ah, thank you. Cognac, huh? It's better than beer, isn't it? Here we go. Little cognac for you. Little cognac for you. All right, here, my boy. Stupidity is this? There must be some way of finding out where this is coming from.
We've checked everything inside the hull. Every piece of machinery is working perfectly.
Then why is there this pounding?
When we surface to recharge batteries, we'll check the superstructure. Maybe it's up there.
And when will that be?
When it's possible.
Oh, it's bad enough to be sealed up in this coffin, choking on the smell of oil and men. But to endure this idiotic... No! It's coming from here, yes, but there is nothing wrong. It's tight as a drum. Captain, I want to ask you a question.
Well?
Is it possible that one of the men in your crew is doing this deliberately?
Deliberately? Why should anyone?
Oh, come now. Don't be that simple-minded.
I don't understand.
To shatter my nerves, of course. To make it impossible for me to carry out my mission.
That's ridiculous.
I do not think so.
Even if anyone wanted to, how could they?
What do I know about U-boats? I would make a very satisfactory victim for a trick. Is there no way to stop this pounding? Will this pounding ever cease?
Captain Medical Officer.
Yes. What for? What for?
A sedative, perhaps, Herr Bartmann.
I do not need a sedative. I want the records of every man sent to my cabin.
All the records are kept in the Admiralty in Berlin.
Oh, that's most unfortunate. It might have been interesting to look into the captain's records also.
poundings in my cabin! Right outside the wall! Surface at once and find out what it is.
We can't. It would be too dangerous.
Surface at once!
Surface at once!
Surface at once, Captain!
Everything still all right?
No signs of anything so far, Captain.
Keep a sharp watch.
Yes, Captain.
Nothing.
Radio message, Captain.
Thank you. Where was this picked up?
Shortwave from London.
Herr Bartmann, we haven't found the trouble yet, but I assure you we are back.
Yes. We will stay up here until we do find it. I didn't know that fresh air could taste so sweet. For me? It is a lie.
I doubt it, Herr Bartmann.
Who gave you this?
The radio man, of course.
It is another deliberate attempt to harass me.
Herr Bartmann, I assure you...
Who is this radio man? What is his background?
Lieutenant Friedel is in charge of personnel.
I found him reliable.
Admiral Dönitz announced today that Adolf Hitler died during the night of April 30th. A Reuters dispatch reports that Hitler killed himself.
It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie.
It's a filthy lie! The Führer would never do anything like that. No, sir. I do not believe in the reliability of your radio man.
But Herr Bartmann, I was...
Why do you insist on defending him?
I'm not defending him.
It's a lie! It's a lie! A filthy lie!
Why are we fighting among ourselves? We're all that is left. Captain, I wish to speak to the men.
Attention! This is the captain. Attention!
This is Bartmann. I bring you terrible news, my comrades. The Führer is dead. He died like a hero, leading his troops into battle. We are Germany now. We must be worthy of the Führer's courage.
Captain. Attention! This is the captain. Everybody to dive stations!
What are you doing?
A boat is approaching from the south.
We haven't found out about the pounding! We haven't found out about the pounding! Ship's 10 miles away! Oh, no! 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 No!
Propeller noises are stronger now. 1, 2, 5 revolutions. Sounds like a destroyer.
How close?
between 3,000 and 4,000 meters.
Lieutenant Schneider?
This is the captain. What is our depth?
90 meters.
An enemy destroyer is approaching. We will be under depth charge attack in approximately 4 minutes. You are to begin procedures for silent routine.
Yes, Captain. This is Lieutenant Schneider.
All electrical equipment except battery for lights will be shut off.
Shoes are to be removed.
There will be no unnecessary talking.
And what do we do if the pounding starts again?
Power room will turn off motors.
Chief engineer will disconnect ventilating system.
That is all.
Further information.
2,500 meters. Still closing. Propeller 125 revolutions.
If that is the only sound we make, we will be all right, Captain.
How close?
2,200 meters. Closing. No, wait. Going over to new course. Approximately 228.
He may be losing us. He's veering away. Well?
4,000 meters. Still moving away. Now on course 206.
He's all over the ocean. He's lost us.
Where am I? Oh, I'm suffocating. I'm suffocating. I'm suffocating. I'm suffocating. I can't breathe. Get out. What is it? What is it? I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I must have air. The destroyer will pick up the pounding and come back.
Indeed it will, Lieutenant.
What is it? Where can it be? Air! He struck me! He's doing the pounding. Arrest him! Arrest him! He's doing it! Can't you see? Tell him who I am! Tell him to stop the pounding! Tell him to stop the pounding! Oh, listen. I'm Bautmann. Remember, the Führer, he embraced me. He said to me, Nürnberg. Million voices, screaming, faces, blood, head.
I gave him pentothal.
Faces.
Make him unconscious in a minute.
Head, voices.
All stations. This is the captain. This is the captain. Reach for dip charges.
Are we going to try to run for it, Captain?
Run? Where can we run?
We're sitting ducks.
It stopped. He's unconscious now. Will somebody give me a hand?
Dear God, only when he's conscious.
What?
We hear the pounding only when he's awake. When he's asleep, it's gone. It's gone now. Don't you see? Somehow it comes from him.
That could not be.
It follows him from place to place.
No, it's not possible. It's not possible.
All stations. This is the Captain. Restore power and prepare to surface. Aim to forward tank. Left rudder. We're going to surrender. Surrender? The war is over. Do you want to die down here with her, Bartman?
What could it have been?
Wonder about it for the rest of your days. Just as I shall. Who knows? It might be good for our souls. All hands! This is the captain. We are going to surrender.
Through the courtesy of the Hornsby Salvage Company in Connecticut, I offer this wrench as one of the strangest mementos of World War II. In 1946, the Hornsby people bought U-boat 147 for scrap. When the outside hull of the ship was cut away, this wrench was found in the hands of a skeleton. During the frenzied war effort of the German U-boat yards, sometimes a workman died unnoticed inside the tank spaces, which then became his unmarked tomb. Now that explains the skeleton, but it doesn't explain the pounding. However, I have a theory. It's my own, of course. What about the man who held this wrench? What was he? Was he a slave laborer from the Balkans of France, Poland? Or was he a German whose hatred of the Nazis did not end with his death? What was he? In a moment, something about next week. This historic French chateau in the Rhone Valley is for sale. Or rent, as many are these days. But either way, the price is rather steep. If you're seriously interested in either buying or leasing this particular one, there are some things you should know. For instance, in its more recent history, around 1892, this chateau was the scene of a dark and chilling drama. The old people in the village below still talk about that night, and still in whispers. For one important player of this drama, the beginning was the end.
Oremus. Deus qui proprium es miserere sempre, e percere tu supplicaes extramus, pro anima familia tui janere.
Oh, Jeanette!
Lambosie di nobis.
Jeanette! Oh, Jeanette!
That those who are joined together by thine authority may be preserved by thy help, through the same Christ our Lord. Amen.
Monsieur le Marquis, Madame.
Madame la Marquise.
Of course, Madame la Marquise.
He meant no disrespect, my dear. We'll take a light luncheon in the drawing room area.
Only for two, Monsieur le Marquis?
Only for two, a small reception.
Very well, Madame.
What are you called?
My name is Ernest, Madame la Marquise.
Ernest, I have seen large strawberries, huge fresh ones, on the table here when I came to visit in the past. I would like some of those.
Very well, Madame la Marquise.
A lot. A big plate.
Very well, Madame la Marquise.
Madame la Marquise. We had a name for him in the village. Another name. Oh, but well, we won't talk about that. I am a lady now. I'm here. I am here.
You have been here before.
Ah, but not this way. Before it was sweet Charlotte from the village. Dear Charlotte. Someone to pass a rainy afternoon with when no one important was around. I used to sit here on the edge of the chair, humbly, having tea. Jeanette was very democratic. Has ever the world seen such an unhappy groom?
No, it's not that, my dear. It's just that it's been such a strange day today.
It must have been a strange day for Father Leon, too. He was unhappy.
Well, he buried Jeanette only 4 months ago.
So no one is happy but the bride, eh?
Oh, Charlotte, give me a little time. You know that I love you.
You know that I love you. You say that like a mouse. No one at the church but 2 choir boys. And no reception. Had I married the village chimney sweep, I would have had a more gala wedding than this.
We agreed to do it this way, quietly, so there'll be no talk.
And if they talked, what could they say?
Charlotte.
But I am human. I want to show off my new husband.
And your new house.
And my new house. Oh, you don't know what it's like to be as poor as a sparrow, but not to feel like a sparrow. Actually, I think some of this furniture is rather old.
Not old, my dear. Antique.
When you are rich, something old is antique. But when you are poor, something old is something old. Do you think I could learn to play the piano at my age? Am I going to have to look at that 24 hours a day?
Yes.
And why?
Remember, you were so fond of Jeanette.
Well, wasn't I? Didn't I come to visit her every dreary day of her illness, bringing her soups and custards and jams, and sitting by her bedside to be sure that she ate every spoonful?
Charlotte! A little delicacy.
Ah, you've changed from the impatient lover who complains so bitterly. Why did it take so long? Why does it take so long?
Charlotte!
And don't talk to me about delicacy.
The servants might overhear.
She was a mouse, too. Oh, a pretty mouse. You should have been very happy. And she was an aristocrat. And how did you fall in love with someone so lowly as the widow of a common soldier? Tell me, Your Honor.
Charlotte.
No, tell me first. No, tell me first.
This is Rose, Charlotte.
I have seen Rose in the market many times. Always the best for the Marquise. The best meats, the best vegetables, the best this, the best that. Look at the size of this one. Open your mouth. Ernest.
Hello.
Take the picture down from the wall, please.
Very well, Madame la Marquise.
I am so hungry.
Eat, my darling. Eat.
Ernest, will you bring me another bottle of that marvelous wine?
Very well, Madame la Marquise.
Did Jeanette play the piano very well? What is it? What's the matter?
Nothing.
Then why do you act as though it was something?
I thought I saw something on the wall.
Jacques, have you lost your mind? What are you doing?
Can't you see it?
See what?
Look more closely.
Oh, it's a stain.
I thought I saw it after lunch. A little while ago I woke up. I had to come down here. Something forced me.
What are you talking about?
Don't you really see what it is?
It's nothing.
It's the outline of a skull.
Come up to bed. Platters and platters of wonderful things. Meats, fish, and delicate things. And for the wines, the best wines in the cellar. I want them to leave with the stomachache of their lives.
Will that be all, Madame la Marquise?
Ernest, excuse us. You two, please.
What do you think? Do I look like a real marquise now? Will you be proud of me at the party?
Charlotte, I tell you it's worse. It's much worse today.
The wall again.
You've got to come and see it. It's so much clearer now. Rose has been scrubbing at it for an hour. You've got to come and see it again.
Come and see what?
Oh, for the love of heaven, Charlotte, come and see it.
Come and see it. Come and... All right, let us go and see it.
It for 2 hours this morning. I have tried everything, lye even.
It is probably some water seeping through the wall.
Then wouldn't it be damp, madame?
Well, what do you suppose it is?
Charlotte.
Rose, when you were a little child, did you ever play a silly game?
A game, madame?
Oh, you know, like looking at a stain on a wall or the ceiling and imagining it to be something other than a stain. Or a butterfly, or an elephant, or a ballerina in a little skirt.
Yes, madame, I remember that game.
And what does this stain remind you of?
Rose, leave us.
Stay. Look at the stain. Let us see how much imagination you have.
It is just some spots, that's all.
Oh, but I can see lots of things in it. 2 blackbirds sitting on a fence. A skull. A dancing bear.
Rose, I told you to leave.
Yes, Monsieur le Marquis.
But later on, come back and clean up this mess before the party.
Yes, madame.
Baiting the girl like that. Charlotte, have you lost your mind?
No. Have you?
But why won't it wash out? Look at it, can't you see? More and more, it's becoming Jeannette.
Jeannette?
I tell you it's true.
And I tell you, you need a doctor. Already, I think you're beginning to have a little fever. And I would like you well for my party.
There won't be any party. We must lock this room up until we find out what this is.
Oh, Sherry, this is such nonsense. You're talking like a little boy.
But what is it?
A stain in the stone.
It is not in the stone.
No, it is in your conscience. And that is dangerous. Ernest!
I know it will finally be her face. The way she looked just before she died, when she realized what we had done to her. You remember how she looked? The terror in her eyes. How could you even think of having people in here?
Madame la Marquise.
Ernest. Rose seems unable to get the stain off that wall.
I know, Madame la Marquise.
Well, it would look very bad for our guests.
Yes, Madame la Marquise.
It also looks very empty, doesn't it, Ernest?
Yes, Madame la Marquise.
Well, what shall we do about it?
If I may suggest, Madame la Marquise, to cover it.
With what? A picture? Chérie, would you mind very much if we hung Janet's picture just for tonight? Get the picture. And have Rose come back and clean up this mess.
Yes, Madame.
Charlotte, can't we call the party off? Have it later. I'm so worried.
Yes, I know. And that makes me worry. About you.
Yes, but I'm so frightened I cannot sleep.
You are losing control.
Can't we put the party off?
No, we cannot. I did not marry you to bury myself alive.
Madame, I see something. Oh, I'm sorry, Madame. That game you mentioned.
What do you see, Rose?
Well, when you look at it a certain way, it does look exactly like...
Like what?
Charlotte.
A dancing bear.
I thought I had said goodnight to all of my guests.
I'll be going.
Jacques, aren't you going to say goodnight to the father?
What?
What a host you've been. All evening long, just standing here. When he has a little too much wine, he becomes like a statue. Perhaps we should put him in the public park and let the children dance around him.
Well, good night, my son.
Don't go. Wait. Help me.
Help you? How?
Help me. I'll get it. It's in the library.
He really shouldn't drink so much wine.
Seems to me he drank very little.
If you want to go now, I'll explain.
I'll wait.
Well, did you enjoy the evening?
Yes, it was pleasant.
I've come up in the world. Do you remember when I used to come to Mass with hardly a sou for the collection plate?
Yes, now it's different. Now you don't come at all.
Or your disapproval of our marriage so quickly. It was obvious.
It was your decision.
He was very lonely. And she was a dear friend.
You can help me with this. You know exactly where to find it.
Find what?
Jeanette gave me this. I poked fun at her. When did I last come to confession?
Some months, I would say.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. At least I remember how to begin.
Jacques, confession is on Saturday. Why don't you go to bed?
Find it for me, please.
Find what?
Is it in Daniel or Isaiah? The king who saw something on the wall?
Really, I must insist. Midnight is no time for this.
I'm speaking to Father Leon.
It's in the book of Daniel. In the same hour there appeared fingers, as if it were the hand of a man, writing upon the surface of the king's wall.
Yes, that is it.
Then was the king's countenance changed, and his thoughts troubled him. And the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees struck one against the other.
Then was the king's countenance changed, and his thoughts troubled him.
How well you speak the holy words, Father.
What was on the wall?
The words, Mene tekel phares. God hath numbered thy kingdom, and thou art found wanting.
Wanting?
Thou art weighed in the balance, and art found white.
God! Sarah, I can see it still.
Jacques.
I can see it on the wall.
Enough!
Through the picture.
Enough! Ernest!
Bless me, Father, for I have seen.
Madame la Marquise.
Ernest, help the Marquis upstairs. You really shouldn't drink so much wine.
Yes, of course. The wine. Good night.
Is he all right?
Monsieur le Marquis seems to be.
Seems to be?
I'm sure Monsieur le Marquis will be all right.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing.
Tell me.
I've known Monsieur le Marquis since he was a little child. But I never saw him like this.
You've never seen him when he's had too much to drink?
Madame la Marquise, it isn't a drink. If he has too much to drink, he is gay. He does all sorts of pleasant things, but he doesn't cry. He seems to be in such despair. He asked for a writing paper.
What?
Then a moment later, he changed his mind. He said, no, Ernest, it's no use. And then he started talking about... It is probably just the wine that affects him differently this time.
What was he talking about?
His first wife.
I see.
If Madame la Marquise would kindly excuse me, I'm very tired.
What did he tell you of his first wife?
Oh, nothing. That she was a gentle, kindly lady.
Well, we all know that, don't we, Ernest?
Yes, Madame la Marquise. Forgive me, Madame. I'm so afraid.
Afraid of what?
He has become so melancholy, so strange. I fear for his life.
I understand. Between us, I have felt the same thing. We must watch him very carefully, Ernest. Good night.
Good night, Madame la Marquise.
And thank you. When you asked for the writing paper, what were you going to do? Send a message to the police?
I can't go on. What am I to do?
What am I to do? If you only knew how grand you and this great house look to us from the village. What a feeling of power and strength. What am I to do? Go to sleep, Sherry.
Sleep? How can I?
Would you like something to make you sleep?
I think I would.
Well, it's late for the servants. I'll go down to the kitchen and fix you some hot chocolate myself.
Yes, do. Charlotte. I want it to work quickly. Not like Jeanette.
You are such a child.
Charlotte, I'm here. I came downstairs. I want to drink it down here.
As you wish. Drink it all. It will make you feel so much better.
I know it will. Charlotte.
What?
Look at the wall.
Oh, the wall again.
Look at the wall, Charlotte.
Such nonsense.
Look! I didn't have enough courage to drink more than a sip. Now, I must find courage enough to face the guillotine, eh, Inspector?
What about her? She touch any of this?
No. It must have been her heart, the shock. She dropped to the floor like a stone after seeing it. Don't touch it! I had to cover it. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it.
You couldn't stand what?
The Marquis de Roget went to the guillotine, insisting there was an image on this wall. And at his trial, his servants swore under oath that something was on the wall. Something that could not be removed. Well, there is something, isn't there? Doesn't look very terrifying. But in the village, there are those who will tell you that on the anniversary of her death, the face of Jeanette sometimes reappears. True or false? Jeanette died on the 12th of April. Now, if some April 12th you happen to be in the vicinity, why not call the local estate agent? He'll escort you up the hill, and you can see for yourself. In a moment, something about next week. The coast of New England, a favorite American vacation land, specializing in codfish, and the legends of witches and their broomsticks, fresh lobster, and haunted houses. Haunted houses? Well, there are many sane and sensible people hereabouts who will swear to you that this house still shelters the unquiet and restless dead. At any rate, if any ghostly inhabitants do dwell within these walls, they've certainly had the place to themselves for a very long time. We are told that we're more likely to find evidences of ghostly inhabitants in the upper regions. Well, all old houses creak and groan, aren't they? Now, look at this. This is perfectly solid wood and plaster. If there's anything more to it than this, we'll have to look further. The attic is a likely place to begin. No inanimate object can have a personality, we are told. But we forget. For example, we look at a house, we say that it's cheerful, melancholy, gloomy. Now, what we're doing, of course, is simply describing our own reactions. There are some cases, however, which seem to defy this handy explanation. On the New England coast, even today, there are certain houses which can be classified only as unfriendly.
Now, that's more like it. That's what I've been talking about.
Well, how do you know it's for rent?
Well, let's find out. Come on. Come on. You come on. That's locked.
Well, of course it's locked.
No, isn't that marvelous, huh? I bet that's almost 200 years old.
Natty, let's look someplace else.
Look someplace else, honey. This is it. This is what we've been dreaming about. Yeah, I can't see a thing.
Honey, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go in.
Andy, you'll get us arrested.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Andy, we really shouldn't be doing
Will
this.
you stop? Well, this place really looks lived in, doesn't it? Now, what is that?
Andy, let's go.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Will you look at those columns?
Andy, look at this. Captain Michael Clausen, 1860 to 1902. Hey, wake up.
Boy, this is really something, isn't it?
You like it very much, don't you?
I like it. I love it. Don't you?
Well, of course.
All right, then let's take it, huh? Hope we're not disturbing your game.
Well, you are.
Look, we're interested in renting a house. Do you handle that sort of thing?
Do and I don't.
What's that supposed to mean?
I do when there's houses to rent and don't when they ain't. Right now, they ain't.
What about that two-story job on Cape Ann Road?
You mean the Clausen house?
You know it?
Yeah, I know it.
Well, the place is empty. We thought it might be for rent.
I wouldn't fool with it.
Why not?
It's an unfriendly house, ma'am. It don't like people.
But it is for rent.
Yeah.
How much?
$500 a month.
$500? Listen, I happen to be an architect. Now, I know a little bit about houses. That's a good house, but don't you think that's a little steep?
Take it or leave it.
Well, you must do a land office business, Mr. Leach.
What if we decide to take it?
Your concern, not mine.
Well, let's talk business then.
You don't go to house.
What?
Don't go to house. Bad. Not a happy place.
Yeah, well, we'll make it a happy place. Oh. Just hold it a minute, will you?
Oh, don't be silly, Andy. We've been married 6 years.
Yeah, never really been alone yet. Now, isn't that why we came here? Hmm? Mm-hmm. Come on. Well, it's ours. Boy, I'll get more work done here than I ever did in New York. Hold it. Wait a minute. Don't ruin it. Let's do it right. Top to bottom. What's the matter?
Nothing.
Well, if you want to back out, you can. I haven't signed a lease yet.
Oh, don't be silly. It'll be fun cleaning all this up. Give me something to do while you're working on your plans. It's a challenge, all right. And I accept. Oh, I wonder what's in here.
Get away.
What?
Get away from there.
Andy,
You have no right to look.
Andy, what's wrong? Don't you feel well?
What? I don't know. I feel kind of strange, maybe. Maybe it's the sea air.
Why'd you get so upset about the trunk? I was just going to look inside.
The what?
Honey, maybe you're right. Maybe we shouldn't rent this place after all.
Don't be silly. You're not gonna let the place scare you because it's a little dark and spooky, are you? Hmm? There, that's better. I'll go downstairs, see if I can find a lamp.
The Diary of Elsbeth Clausen, 1899. March 5, 1899. Michael went hunting again today. August 1st, 1899. Michael spends most of his time these days in the fields, hunting. He shouldn't. It only makes his leg that much worse. And when he returned, he was limping badly. Also, there was blood on his hands. I did not like the way he looked at me. His face was flushed and his eyes burned. He is jealous of Gideon, so many years his friend.
What you got?
Nothing, just an old book.
Forget it. Come on. Let's take a look at the rest of the place. Ever see so many rooms in your life? What am I going to do with all those beds?
What's the matter?
It was like somebody shoved a knife right in my leg. Oh, I never felt anything like that in my life. Phew. Like it took my breath away.
Breakfast and lunch. You haven't eaten a thing all day. Please try.
You're being very solicitous.
I'm worried about you.
I'm sure you are. Wait a minute. What is this?
It's chicken soup.
Looks thick, looks rich. Come here. Come here. Isn't it strange that a man can thrive for years on rum and biscuits and then grow weak and sickly on his wife's cooking? Isn't that strange?
Everything you say is strange. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, of course not.
Aren't you going to eat?
It's a different food I need.
What do you mean?
Nothing. Take it away. I'm not hungry.
I wish you wouldn't do that.
Do what?
Drink the way you've been doing lately. Andy, listen to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's my fault, but something's terribly wrong with us. We came here to be together, and we've never been so far apart. Never.
You'd like to leave here, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
Why?
Because we're not happy here.
You're not. That's quite understandable. You miss New York, don't you?
That isn't it.
No, not exactly. You miss something, someone.
Andy, I don't follow.
Bill, my esteemed partner.
What?
He kept you from being lonely in New York, didn't he? Why don't you stop pretending? Do you imagine for one moment I didn't know what was going on from the beginning?
That's a dreadful thing to say.
Hasn't been pleasant for you, has it, being locked up here with me, away from him?
I don't know what you mean.
You know exactly what I mean, Elspeth.
Elspeth? You called me Elspeth.
What are you talking about?
Oh, Andy, I'm so frightened. I'm so frightened. Let's pack up and get out of here right now.
No, we'll stay.
Mr. Leach?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Ellen Courtney. We rented a house from you several months ago.
Yes, ma'am. I remember. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm not sure. May I sit down, please?
Why, of course, Right here. Now.
I thought perhaps you might tell me something.
Like what?
About the house.
Yes, ma'am. I know what you mean. I expected you a long time before this. It was built in 1801 by a man by the name of Silas Clausen. He left it to his son, Michael. Michael was a sea captain, and a good one, so they say. But he was mean. Mean. Killed a lot of his men. Finally, a crew mutinied, and they keel-hauled him.
What does that mean?
Drug him back and forth across the bottom of his boat. Barnacles chewed him up pretty bad, I guess. Near tore off his right leg. After that, he was different. When the mutineers was all hung, he retired from the sea.
Was he married?
He was.
What was her name?
Elspeth.
And what happened to her?
Don't you know, Mrs. Courtney?
Where's the master?
He's out hunting.
Andy? Oh, you're kidding. He's never hunted in his life.
Never before now.
That was a pretty mysterious telegram, Ellen. Why didn't you call me up?
Andy had the phone taken out.
Why?
Ever since we moved into this house, Andy's been different.
How?
He's changed into another person, a person I've never seen before. And neither of you. Bill, you wouldn't recognize him. He gets into moods. He hardly even talks to me, and when he does, I don't know who he is.
Well, he's never had any time to himself before. Well, this is a pretty tough adjustment to make, Ellen.
Look. He sits at this board all day long and draws things.
It looks like part of an old sailing vessel.
There's something else I'd like you to see.
Andy. How are you? Ellen told me you were out slaughtering the local wildlife. I couldn't believe it. Well, there are no letters. I tried to call you. I had a feeling you were trying to keep something from me.
You don't like me to keep things from you, do you?
Well, it all depends.
You came here for a reason? Get to the point.
All right. I'm kind of swamped at the office, and I thought maybe you might want to help.
Help yourself, Gideon, you always have.
Gideon? Andy, I came here because Ellen wired me. She was worried about you.
Why don't you say what you mean, Gideon?
Why do you keep calling me that?
Why don't you drop this pose? Admit you came here for Elsbeth.
I'm afraid you're going to have to make yourself clear.
Gladly. I accuse you of consorting with Elsbeth, my wife.
Consorting?
You have betrayed me and lied to me enough. Now get out of here.
Andy!
Get out! Go on, get out! Get out!
Oh, Bill.
I should have killed you both.
Andy, you're sick.
Yes, I'm sick of your deceits and your lies. Sick of them all, Elsbeth.
I'm not Elsbeth. I'm not Elsbeth.
Oh, my God.
What's wrong?
Old Mr. Leach, the real estate agent, would tell you that Andrew Courtney was possessed or taken over by the dead sea captain, whose tormented presence, or ghost, lived on in the ancient house. Once the house was destroyed, the captain was destroyed, and Andrew was restored to himself. It's not an entirely satisfactory explanation, is it? But it's the best we can do right now. In a moment, a word about next week. Only a very few moments ago, this was the scene of a tense human drama, played for very high stakes indeed. A man's life. A jury has just determined that Paul Marlin did not murder his wife. Thus, a sensational murder trial comes to an end. But sometimes, the end is also the beginning. Perhaps if Paul Marlin could have known what lay ahead, he would have preferred being found guilty.
Well, you just going to sit there all day?
What?
Hasn't it gotten through to you yet? It's all over, Paul. You're a free man.
Yes, I know.
Such enthusiasm. It's not that I expect thanks, Paul. Nobody who charges the kind of fees I do should expect gratitude, too. But I had an idea that you might at least feel relieved.
Dan, I'm sorry. I'm just so bone-tired I can hardly feel anything. I didn't even remember to thank you. No, I am relieved, and I'm very grateful, too. You were just wonderful. I'm lucky I had you for my attorney.
It's easy to be marvelous when your client is innocent. You're still thinking about Julie, huh?
I am. I don't know if I'll ever really stop. If I only knew who did it or why.
What are you going to do with yourself, Paul?
Oh, I don't know. Start trying to pick up the pieces, I guess.
You could do with a change of scene.
Yes, I suppose so.
And a rest. You need a rest, Paul.
I'll think about it.
Never mind thinking about it. You're going to do something about it. Come on.
Hey, Martin. My paper would like to know how you feel about being let off.
Being let off?
Okay. Being found not guilty.
Pretty silly question, isn't it? How do you think he feels?
Why don't you let your client answer, Counselor?
Well, you've gone so far out of your way to twist and distort everything I've said since my wife's death, I see no point in even trying.
How about you, Counselor? Do you want me to print no comment also? Or do you have anything to say about the very peculiar shortage of prosecution evidence and witnesses?
Not even the district attorney can produce what doesn't exist, Ferris.
Is that why the murdered woman's family wasn't even called to testify? Or did you and the DA decide they didn't belong at your private little trial?
Now look, Ferris. You know perfectly well I tried to reach a brother in New Zealand.
Sure you did. Tried real hard.
Yes, we did, but communications to the backcountry of New Zealand are practically non-existent.
Uh-huh.
Besides, it wouldn't have possibly contributed anything relevant.
And you know that, of course, without even asking him.
Look, Ferris, what are you trying to build? The trial's over. Your paper got a lot of circulation out of it. Now, why don't you find someone else to pick on?
It's just that I believe, along with a lot of people in this town, that Marlin killed his wife in cold blood.
Now, wait a minute,
For
Ferris.
money.
I'm getting sick and tired
And it galls
of
me to
this.
see him walking away scot-free.
Now, look!
Thanks. I've got my headlines.
Paul, come on. I want to talk to you.
I walked right into his trap.
You know your nerves are on edge. All you needed was a push.
Look, Dan.
No, I want...
Please. There's something I want to ask you. Now, the things he said about the trial,
About the way it was handled.
No.
Now, you didn't...
Paul, it's just as I told you. The DA's office jumped before they had anything much to go on. By the time they realized they had no real evidence against you, what with the papers beating the drums, getting people worked up, they were publicly committed. They had to go through the motions.
All right, then why Ferris's personal vendetta with me? Now, he can't possibly believe that I killed Julie, can he?
Oh, I doubt if he even cares, one way or the other. But he will go on needling you as long as it means good copy. And so will the rest of the press.
Which is just what you want me to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
That's why all this talk about going away?
Yes. You know, what Ferris said about some people in this town is true. People react emotionally, Paul. They react to cliches. Now, Julie was a lot older than you. You know that. She had a lot of money. And, well, people see too many plots in the movies. You know, they're affected by it. Now it'd be wise to give the town a chance to cool off. Yourself, you need a rest. And you can get a new perspective on things, come back with a fresh outlook.
Is that my lawyer's advice?
No. It's your friend's advice, Paul.
Okay, Dan. All right. I'll go away for a while. I just hate the idea of looking as though I were running away. Miss Wyckoff?
Yes.
Hello. I'm Paul Marlin.
I recognize you, Mr. Marlin. The hotel phoned. All I have left is a third-floor rear.
I'm sure that'll be quite fine, thank you.
Well, it'll have to be. This is our season.
Yes, so I understand.
I'm sure you'll be quite comfortable.
Guess I'm lucky to get anything at all. It's right on the button.
How long do you expect to stay, Mr. Marlin?
Oh, I really had no plans. Would it matter to you?
Not a bit. Well?
Oh, yes, this'll be fine. Thank you very much.
That'll be $6 a night.
Oh.
When you leave, I'll have the trunks moved tomorrow.
Well, they're no trouble. Help you?
Bourbon.
Any particular?
No, anything.
Water or soda?
Another, please, a double.
A little water in it this time, please. Bartender, tell me something. What do you think? What's your name?
Joe.
Tell me something. What do you think of people who see things that aren't there and hear things?
They've had too much to drink.
No, I mean, before they had too much. Before they've had even one drop.
Too much imagination, I guess.
That's it. Too much imagination. Too much imagination is a dangerous thing, you know? Like the man said. Now, that's a good mirror. That is a mirror that I approve of. Friendly, you know? You look at it, looks back at you. No tricks, just what's there. You know, Joe, I've got a mirror in my room. Very tricky mirror. Everything, the whole place is tricky. You can't trust it. I mean, sounds and things that aren't even there. The clock striking the wrong time. Dogs howling like they're supposed to do when somebody dies. Thunder, wind, and lightning after. And you know there was no thunder or lightning tonight. Man came in with a German Luger pistol, and he shot me.
Sure.
And I didn't even know him. I never saw him before in my life. And I was wide awake. I mean, it's not like a dream. I was wide awake. That's some imagination, huh? It's like I'm an inventor. I invented a person. I mean, this man he wasn't made up of all faces I'd known before, like in a dream. He was someone real. Tall, about my height.
May I have some change, please? Scotch and water, please. No ice.
What's this supposed to be?
Pardon?
1 pound, Commonwealth of New Zealand.
I'm sorry. I've only been in the country a few hours. It takes a while to remember about the currency.
I beg your pardon, but...
the next bus out of here.
You were?
Anywhere.
Well, there's one at 2:05 to San Francisco.
Or San Francisco.
4:50. Put your luggage on the ramp. The driver will pick it up when he gets here.
Huh?
Your luggage. Put it on the ramp.
Oh, no, I don't have any luggage, thanks.
Roger Wiley. Roger Wiley, you are Paul Marlin, aren't you? What is it? Why'd you keep running? I told you I'm Roger Wiley, Julie's brother. Aren't you well? Shall I call a doctor? Well, the landlady said it'd be all right if I left my bags here while I went looking for you. I explained who I was.
How did you find me?
Your solicitor told me where you'd gone. I only landed in San Francisco this afternoon.
Well, why did you come here?
Well, Julie's estate, for one thing. Then there's the matter of... Your gun bother you? I always carry it with me. It's a good thing to have along when you're out on the range for weeks at a time. Are you sure that you're all right?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine, really. Sorry, it's just nerves, that's all.
Julie's death. That terrible trial. I'm sure the last month has been very unpleasant for you. It'll probably give anyone the shakes.
I'll be all right in the morning. Why don't we meet then? Over breakfast, maybe. We can have a talk, huh?
That's a good idea. But with the hotel full up, I hardly know where to look for a room at this hour. What I mean is... No, I thought perhaps I could flop in that chair for tonight.
Oh. Yes, of course. Why not?
Thanks.
You were saying there was another reason why you came?
Oh, yes. I've been out on the range rounding up some beef for shipment. When I got back, I found this letter from Julia waiting for me, along with a notification from the court about the trial and all. Julia wrote this the day before she was killed.
Stay away from me. I know why you came. I had a warning.
You had what?
I know why you're here, and I know why this gun, too. I saw it all happen.
Paul, I don't know what you're babbling about.
You're here to kill me. You read the newspapers, didn't you? You believe what they said, that I killed her, don't you? That I planned the whole thing to make it look like somebody had broken in just to cover up.
Paul, listen to me. I don't believe anything of the sort. Why should I?
Why are you here? She told you everything in that letter.
Paul.
She knew everything right from the start, didn't she? I never fooled her, not for 1 minute, I'll bet.
Paul, give me the gun.
No.
You don't realize what you're doing.
No, I tell you! I waited too long. I've planned all this too carefully to have it all blow up my face now. I am her heir! I am her sole heir!
You killed her.
Yes! Yes. You're not gonna take it away from me. Nobody's gonna cheat me of it now.
Dearest Roger, I only hope and pray you will believe that the last 6 months have been the happiest of my life. I know how foolish you thought I was to marry a man so much younger. I must confess I had my moments of doubt, too. But Paul loves me, really loves me, Roger. He proves it in 100 ways every day. I've never felt so alive, so wanted. Enough of this, dear brother. I want very much to give Paul something in return for all he's given me. I've decided to immediately transfer all my holdings, real estate, stocks, everything, to his name. And I want it to be a surprise. Naturally, there'll be some complications with those things you and I own together. And as it has been so long since we've seen each other, couldn't you find the time to come to San Francisco? It would be wonderful if you could. Besides, it's high time the two men in my life met and became friends. Julie. Paul Marlin went to the gas chamber insisting that he was the victim of an hallucination that drove him to murder. The only witness he had to support his plea was the bartender. But then bartenders hear so many strange things, don't they? Probably it was Paul's guilty conscience that somehow created the sights and sounds of his own destruction. His conscience was his executioner. In a moment, a program word about next week.